Hello! Magandang araw! I'm Luz Guerrero, currently Vice President at Social Weather Station, a non-profit survey research organization in the Philippines. I am the principal investigator for the Asian Barometer in the Philippines. I recall that as of late 1999, I was already part of the planning committee of the Asian Barometer Survey, or ABS for short. At the time of its establishment, it was actually then called the Comparative Survey on Democratization and Value Changes in East Asia. When the first round of surveys was launched in 2000, this cross-country consortium covered 8 East Asian political systems. By the second wave in 2004, it expanded to cover 13 member countries. In the same year, 5 South Asian countries became part of the enlarged ABS. Now, it has 20 members with Myanmar and Australia as the newest additions. There are 3 things I appreciate with the Asian Barometer. First, I appreciate that the current Asian Barometer Data Archive, which is hosted in Taipei by the Academia Sinica and the National Taiwan University, already spans 5 waves of scientific, reliable, and accessible data for democratization research. The data represent collective thinking on democracy, quality of governance, social capital, political participation, and socio-economic development of Asian populations. And what stands out is that this database, if I may borrow words of an advertisement, is truly Asia. In a way, I am comforted by the idea that in the analytics of Asian comparative research, the Philippines will be included. That is, the history of Filipinos through opinions they give can be compared with histories of our neighboring Asian countries. Second, I appreciate that the network of the Asian Barometer principal investigators representing different Asian countries have stayed on since its inception. This facilitates the continuity of the discussions that have taken place over the years. I am doubly glad that these principal investigators have taken it upon themselves to mentor the successor generation. We have in fact successfully attracted the interest of young scholars to continue producing materials from these data sets for theory building, theory testing, policy and decision making, program evaluations, or simply for education to produce informed citizens. And third, I appreciate very much that the Asian Barometer is very much ably led by Professor Yunhan Chu. Were it not for him, the Asian Barometer would not have lasted for 20 years to date. I salute Yunhan and his team of young scholars who helped manage and operate the Asian Barometer. As an aside story, and I smile when I think of it, when I began this journey with them, the staff could barely speak English. But now, as I continue to attend conferences and planning meetings and workshops with them, I can see that they are now professionals in their own right. And of course, even surpassing my facility with the English language. With them around, I can confidently say that the Asian Barometer will definitely survive me. I have a colleague, Stephen Rood, and he describes the Philippines as having a hyper-presidential system with the rhythm of politics being timed to election cycles in the presidential term, which to us is 6 years. The 5 survey rounds implemented in the Philippines for the Asian Barometer actually saw 3 presidents. So what do the Asian Barometer data tell me about the Philippines? over 5 general population surveys from 2002 to 2018. 1. There are high levels of increase in satisfaction and trust for the president and for institutions such as the military, civil service, local government, the national government, NGOs, police, courts, and Congress, but not relatively not the political party. 2. There is a steady preference for economic development over democracy. 3. There is a steady favorable increase in and optimism in the evaluation of economic conditions of own family and country. 4. There is an increase in satisfaction with the way democracy works. 5. There is an increase in the view that the Philippines is a full democracy, or at least a democracy, but with minor problems. 6. There is a rise in preference for leaders making decisions rather than implementing what voters want. 7. There is a noticeable increase in apathy, question mark, of Filipinos saying it does not matter if we have a democratic or a non-democratic regime. And 8. There is a decline in political efficacy when more Filipinos are saying sometimes politics and government seem so complicated that a person like me can't really understand what is going on. Now, could this data say that the defense of democracy for the Philippines has become less robust? By the way, the Asian Barometer Data Archive allows for these results to be disaggregated by different demographic variables and cross-tabulated with many attitudinal variables. But I'm not going to do this here. I'm inviting you to do it yourselves, not only for the Philippines, in fact, but for the other Asian member countries. Thank you. And again, congratulations to the Asian Barometer.